What's up? It's Alton, Ultimate RC, and this again is Mini Rock Rumble. This is our second update for the March 7th, 2026 competition. And what we have done here this weekend here at Fast and Fun Toy and Hobby is we have both of our courses fully set up for how it's going to be for the competition. Right now, we're looking at the SCX30 course in front of me here. You remember from last time, our SCX30 course was the course that we featured, the one that we focused on for that competition. And this time, we're focusing not just on SCX30s and 30th scale, but also 18th and 24th scale officially being formalized into the competition. So let's take a look at our 30th scale course this time. As you can see, it's a lot bigger. We've spread it out a lot more. It is now taking up 3 6-foot folding tables.
For SCX30s, the route on our course is going to essentially be on this side is going to be where the stock class is going to loop around, and on this side is where the modified class is going to loop around. Otherwise, the outside track of the course, both classes will share. I'm going to explain more detail here. So all trucks will start on our green starter rock like last competition. You'll remember this formation, it was elevated. We're going to start on the green rocks, back wheels on that, and front wheels on Pride Rock. Bonus points if you get the whole truck up it. Starting from our green wheels on the starting rock, our stock class is going to come through here, make our way over this terrain, and then immediately hook around to the right-hand turning, of course, is what I'm referencing as, and go over the cliffhanger hill. Then it's going to come down through this range and terrain here. You're going to come all the way down to the end and have to make a hard right turn over these rocks to get into this terrain where you're going to come down and you're going to get to this familiar obstacle. This was the hardest obstacle of the course last time we ran, and it's still going to generally be that for the box stock class. But you're going to come up this, come down, and now our new feature, we have our mud pit. You're going to have to make your way into the mud pit and turn in the mud pit to make your way out and go over this terrain here. You're going to continue around the outside of the course, going over the Glen Arch, turning through these rocks, and then getting on the teeter-totter. Up the teeter-totter, you're going to have to negotiate getting over these rocks. We're going to kind of have people stay in the middle for the most part. Coming down, and on this side, coming out through this terrain. This is going to be a tricky spot here, folks. Remember, the floor is lava. Coming through this area here, and now you're going to turn right and make your way back through. So going up over this obstacle into this terrain, through here, and this is again where a tricky part. You're going to have to make your way over this rock, around, and then through this valley on that yellow rock. We might swap this out for the brown one that's on display at the front of Fast and Fun here, but it's the same terrain. Okay, moving your way through here, you're going to come through this way, you're going to loop around one more time over our Glen Arch, through these rocks, over the teeter-totter once again. The judges will work the teeter-totter for you to make sure it's in position, that it's the right way when you need to get over it. Through here, once again, back over this terrain, into this terrain, so that we can make our way back through here and get to Pride Rock. That is our stock class route. For our mod class route, like I explained a moment ago, I'm going to show the details here. So starting, once again, wheels on the green rock, coming through this area here, and instead of going to the right like we did with our stock class, we're going to the left. So we're coming around here, we're going to go up over the teeter-totter, through these rock formations, over the Glen Arch, over this terrain here, into the mud pit, this time having to make a left-hand turn through the beads to get lined up here to get over this little mountain terrain, back down through this terrain, and then when we get here, we're going to go left. Now, for modifieds, you're going to get a choice at this point. You can either take the 2 archways that you have to drive over, which are definitely more challenging in the sense that when you're over this one, your nose is going to be pushed down in this one. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got a vehicle set up with your wheels out front that they'll be able to push and grab on there. The other challenge of taking this way is that when you get here, you're not in the most ideal position to climb this obstacle. This is the hardest obstacle on the course, and I'll explain why in a moment. So if you take this route and you make this, you're gonna get bonus points. So if you maybe racked up a couple gate touches previously in the course, this will be your opportunity to try to make up for some of those points. If you take this side, obviously much easier to get over, and it has you in ideal wheel position to get up and over this obstacle here. So that's gonna be the choice why we have 2 lanes there. More challenging, bonus points, less challenging, standard, okay? When you get up over this obstacle, you're gonna have to turn your vehicle left, come down, and get across these rocks. Again, not coming off wheels, touching the ground because the floor is lava. And when you get here, once again, you're gonna keep circling back around the outside, going through the mud pit one more time, going over this obstacle one more time, all the way around, through here, up over the cliffhanger arch, down this side, back up over, through here, and back to Pride Rock. That is the route for our modified class on the SCX 30 course.
That is the SCX 30 course. Now, the new digs, what I know you're all excited to see, the 1/18th, 1/24th scale course. Here it is. There it is in all its glory. 123 tiles of hexagon, XL tiles, over 1,000 hours of printing, printed by 3 different entities, myself, Adam McGrew, and Coex 3D. The course is gonna run in a spiral configuration. We're gonna start with our wheels here on the barrels. The stock class SCX 24 and 18 scale will come up the shipping crates down the logs, down through here, across, up and over this obstacle. Be careful coming down over here because it does have a tendency to want to tip and roll over that way. Over this rock right here. Then up and over our Glen Arch, through our rock terrain here. Then we're going to go over the barrels, through Hell's Gate, through here. And this time we're going to take a hard right and go up and over our tunnel, coming back down, coming through here. And this time we're going to take another right, go over this rock, over this terrain, down here, up over this terrain, and then we're going to stay inside the shipping crates, up over this terrain, over those barrels. As we come over the barrels, we're going to come through here, turn around, go through the tunnel this time, and then we're going to make a right coming out of the tunnel and go underneath our Glen Arch right here, over our terrain there. Actually, it's going to come over here, through over this rock, through this terrain, back up over our barrels one more time, through Hell's Gate again, and this time we're going to go right around the logs, over the base of our hill here, straight through and up the shipping crate for the finish. That's going to be our stock class run. For modified SCX 24 and TRX 4Ms or 18 scales, we're going to have 2 possible outcomes for this. So we found out that some of our SCX 24 entrants as well as TRX 4M entrants, they're built so wide from their axles and tires that they're too wide to actually drive up the shipping crates. They literally straddle it. If you can, I would suggest shortening your track width so that you can go up these crates. And I can give you a measurement on what that would look like. But just to give you an example, this TRX 4M, which is not widened much, is sitting on about half the wheels on either side. And then once you get up these ladders, you're at the inner thirds of the wheels, okay? So you don't want to be too wide for this course.
But if you are too wide, we're gonna have you just go this way to start, okay? So you're gonna just make an extra run through Hell's Gate to do that. But anyway, going for our modified 18th and 24th scale, the default track is going to be, once again, going over the shipping crates, coming down, coming around this outside path here, and then once again, taking the outside route this way, down the rock, over the arch, do this, coming up over the barrels, through Hell's Gate. Now, for our modified classes, we're gonna have you side hill. So the first pass, you're gonna side hill the inside of Hell's Gate. So we're gonna come around the inside, go around the logs, go up over the hill here. So far pretty similar to the SCX24 box stock, but here's where it's gonna differ. This time for a mod class, you're gonna take this line right up this terrain. This is a difficult line. You'll notice that we did skip this on the box stock. That's because I tested it with a few box stocks. They cannot make it up this, but modifieds can. So modified is gonna come over this, down, then go up this, come down. This is where we're gonna catch up with our box stock line. Go up and over here. Once again, stay inside. And we're gonna go up over those barrels. Make our way back here. Come on, up over the barrels. Over this way. Okay, then after the barrels, we go through the arch. And yes, high trails can fit through there, so you'll be fine. Now, this is where it's gonna differ again from the box stock runs. For the box stock runs, we would have kept turning right and gone under the Glen Arch. But for our modifieds, we're gonna go straight. We're gonna go up this terrain this way, have to get up here and then turn to come back down. There we go, turn to come back down. Okay, now we're gonna go up over here again, down here, through this once more, and another run through Hell's Gate, this time side hilling, side walling the outside of Hell's Gate as you go across. And it is challenging, you can roll over. After you do that, you come around, go around the logs again, over the base of our arch, and then once again, up the shipping crate to finish. So if you are too wide to make it over our shipping containers with your track width, then you're gonna immediately go to the left here, go over the barrels, come this way, and you will side hill the outside of Hell's Gate. So it'll go outside your first time through, inside your second time through, and then outside once again your third time through Hell's Gate because you could not track the shipping crates. That's how the course will work for our 18th and 24th scale classes modified. For anybody who's asking about running the not so 18th scale Capra, this is why. Yeah. You look at this is a TRX 4M. That's a little bit wider than stock. This is the 18th scale Capra. Nope. First of all, I hope you don't mind that my voice is not quite there because I've been under the weather for the past few days, including today. A couple changes to remember for this contest. Number one, this is the same as it was before, but there is an RSVP form to fill out that will go right here. So scan this QR code or screenshot this and tap it in the pictures album of your phone to be able to go to that. I'll also put a link to the contact form in the description, as well as a link to the Facebook events page where you can see all the official rules for each one of our classes. Once again, there's 6 total classes, box, stock, and modified for 30th scale, 24th scale, and 18th scale. A special note I want to make about the 24th scale is I know in the last video I said it was SCX 24s only. However, we are allowing additional 24th scales such as FMS 24, and if there is something that we don't know. But the spirit in which we're going to divide you between box, stock, and modified is how built up is the truck, even if it's just out of the box. If you come with a 24 scale truck that's built up like an Ascent Apex 18,
then it'll go to modified class. But if you come here with like a 24th scale SCX 24 or an FMS 24, that's essentially like a scale truck, then we're probably gonna just run that in box stock class as long as you haven't modified it. Clarifications on entry fees, just to make sure that this is clear. This time there will be entry fees per driver, per class. So if you're running, let's say, a car in box stock SCX 30, and then mod SCX 30, and then 18th scale modified, you'd be looking at $30 to run all three. If you're 17 or under, it's only $5. So parents, if you're bringing your kids and you want to pay their way in, we're giving a little bit of a break on that. Of course, if you do help and volunteer by either coming the day before to help with setup or be one of our judges, we are going to give you a free entry for either one of those or both if you do both. So if you judge, you get a free entry for one of your vehicles. If you come to help the day before, you'll get a free entry for one of your vehicles. For coming and helping the day before, we are going to limit that to the number of people because obviously there's a point to where there's so many people coming that not everybody can really do something. So we will be looking at who fills out the form and who is willing to come, and we will be sending an invitation to those that volunteer to help. For the day before, of course, for judging, same thing too, we're going to be looking at everybody that volunteers to help, and we'll be selecting from those that are judging that are volunteering. However, the sooner you fill out that form and the sooner you say, I want to volunteer for this, the more likely that we're going to choose you. So thank you again very much for that. Once again, the doors will open at 11 a.m. The contest will start right around noon, and it will run until we're done. Last time we were done in about 2.5 hours. This time, I expect that we will take a little bit longer, but hopefully with more judges, more help, 2 completely separate courses, we'll be able to run things simultaneously. So we'll be able to run 30th scale on this table, while at the same time, an 18th or 24th scale running is taking place on the other table. So after April, what does the future of Mini Rock Rumble look like? Well, this is an indoor activity, and as we know, as we get into the summer months like May, June, July, people want to go outside. And my thoughts for this is that this is going to be a seasonal thing where we will run it November through April. Therefore, after April, we won't be doing another indoor Mini Rock Rumble. Now, no promises yet, but there might be something outdoors, but I can't say for certain. However, what I will say is that if we don't do anything after April, Mini Rock Rumble will return in November of this year to bring it back and do it indoors with our tiny crawlers that are just perfect for this sort of thing. So thank you for everybody who's come out for these first few competitions we have for this one, the March 7th one, and thank you in advance for coming out for April 11th. We're very excited to see how we can keep something really fun like this going with our crawlers, and looking forward to seeing everybody in about a week. Thank you so much. And once again, check the description for those links. Please give this video a like and a comment. In fact, in your comment, tell me what rig you plan on bringing. If you're going to be bringing an SCX 24, a TRX 4M, SCX 30, if you're bringing a modified one, tell me a little bit about some of the mods you might be putting on it. That might be kind of cool to see what things people are bringing, okay? All right. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.